Welcome to the 2025 iFishiBelong Impact Meeting. This is with iFishiBelong as this parent organization, and then we have our 4 programs: Becca, Klein, All Kids Fish. We have our DIY fishing events. We have Ubuntu Flying Lures and United Women on the Fly. We are excited to share all the amazing things that iFishiBelong and all of our programs, what we've done in 2025. As we were all compiling all of this data and all these metrics, it's like, wow, it's pretty incredible just as I mentioned, the reach that we have. Our mission, what is our mission statement? iFishiBelong, we focus on cultivating leadership opportunities. We advocate for equitable representation. We offer financial assistance and also promote access and belonging for all people within the angling community. And you're going to see throughout this entire presentation that we are always mission focused, mission driven, and we're going to talk about all of the things that we've done and where that falls into place within our mission. Who we are, here's our board members and committee chairs. You're going to meet all of these folks sometime throughout this meeting, and pretty excited to have just such an incredible group of leaders and board members and volunteers. Truly, we have an incredible organization, and we can't wait to show you who we are. We focus and we really push all species, all techniques, all people. How we originally started was through United Women on the Fly. A lot of our base is fly fishing. However, that is not the future. All species, we want to catch and see all fish. We want all techniques, whether you're going to conventional fish, fly fish, spay fish, tenkara, hand line, whatever you do, we want to support that, share it, and showcase it. We have an absolutely incredible group of volunteers. We have 51 total volunteers throughout the organization, and this is through our different committees and also through our programs. If you look at all of these amazing folks, for me, it's pretty special just to look and see each and every one. I know everyone's so different. They come from different backgrounds, different cultures, and it's really a beautiful group of people. So I hope that you at some point get to meet and connect with some, if not all of them. We also recognize that there's still work ahead to fully reflect our mission of inclusivity. We're committed to intentionally bringing diverse perspectives, cultures, and experiences into our team. There's room at the table for all people, and we really want to continue to bring all people into our volunteers, into our events, into our programs. If you have any interest in this, please reach out, and I'm going to show some ways of how you can support us and connect with us at the end of this meeting. What we do, all of our work is truly mission driven. I'm going to actually read through these because I think that they're really important. This is our mission. And as I go through all the slides and all of our data, I'm going to continue to bring it back to these 4 things within our mission. Cultivating leaders. iFishiBelong is committed to providing leadership development for educators, leaders, and experts across various programs within the fishing industry. Equitable representation. iFishiBelong is committed to changing the complexion of the outdoors by ensuring all genders and marginalized anglers are represented in the fishing community and industry. Financial assistance. So iFishiBelong offers financial assistance for educational pursuits, events and outings, including fishing events, hosted trips, summits, workshops, and online classes. And finally, promoting access and belonging. iFishiBelong hosts both virtual and in-person events to connect and engage the angling community. Now I'm going to show what we do, what happened in 2025 because of all of this amazing work. Here's some highlights. One thing I want to really highlight here is our volunteers. For 2025, we had 5,469 total volunteer hours. That is incredible. Had 51, as I mentioned, organizational volunteers, and more than 69% of our volunteers have stayed for 1 or more years. So we really have that good continuity and just continued volunteer base. Of all of our volunteers, we have 23 volunteers that represent 23 states across the US and also Canada. And these volunteers are really specific as to program volunteers as well as to our committees, but we also have other volunteers in different events that really are just in addition to these D1 volunteers. Our organization is truly volunteer based, and you're going to see the reflection with that too, because our admin costs, our admin expenses are so low that we truly are volunteer driven. As we're talking about our mission statement and our 4 main things within our mission, advocacy and actions, I just want to go through, this is a pretty busy slide, I know, and I'm not going to read through all of it, but I think it's important because I think some folks may not know that what we have, and also wanting to kind of look into the future too of additional things that we want to work on. Resources. We truly focus on developing community-driven resources that remove those barriers, expand access, and support more inclusive fishing. So we have our different community authors. I saw Russell there on the call right now. But Russell wrote a community written guide, really the 3 pillars of autism, and how certain groups within fishing can work and do better to support and advocate for folks that do have autism. So it's a really great resource. And our goal is to continue to have more of these community written guides throughout the next, few years. We also have 10 leader authored blog posts within our Be What You Don't See campaign. We interviewed 15 different folks in 2025. And of those, we've written blogs. Georgie, one of our volunteers with the Marcom committee, she has written specific blogs. And what she's done is taken those interviews and really written them to where they're more of an ally education. So we can support and show how people within the fishing community can support all of the people that we're showcasing, all of these leaders, and how can they support certain people that identify in a way that we may not. There's ways that we can continue to advocate for those people and just continue to build a more inclusive space within fishing. We also have access through education. Bob's going to talk a little bit more about his incredible work that he's done with virtual education with Ubuntu fly anglers. But we also have a free intro to fly fishing virtual course. All you have to do is click on the link and you can just, it's donation based. So you can do 0, you can do whatever you wanted to donate. And it's an 1.5-hour course. We also offer several other virtual course scholarships. So if you don't have the financial means to have this education, then we will definitely provide links so there really is limiting that barrier as far as virtual education goes. And community and representation. We identified and amplified 15 different leaders in the fishing industry last year, and I'm going to go through some of the numbers. It's pretty incredible, and it just goes to show the importance of this specific campaign and also the want and the need for this work to continue. Our education, we really have ramped up our education in 2025. 2025, we had 923 education hours over all of our programs. That was a 34% increase compared to 2024. We had 21 different education instructors, and really our main focus with our education this year was to prioritize and bring on educators that don't look like the norm. So these are all of the different educators that we had that were either with different programs. And if you look at all of these amazing, beautiful faces, they don't necessarily look like the norm. And we're proud of that. And we want folks to see themselves as they're learning. So hopefully one day, maybe they too want to be that educator or that expert that can share and mentor all of that information. So we're really proud of all of the different instructors that have worked with iFishiBelong in 2025. This is our Be What You Don't See folks. These are all the leaders that we identified. Again, we had 15. Just a few stats, pretty incredible actually, but we had Instagram views, 99,458 Instagram views just for our posts on the Be What You Don't See. We also had over 140 hours of watch time in our reels. And these reels are literally like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 140 hours for 2025. So that really goes to show that what we're doing, this campaign, this is needed, this is wanted, people are watching it, people want it, and we're going to continue it and again in 2026. We're really excited to really now start to expand from fishing industry, but also into the outdoor industry. So we can start to identify folks that hopefully will show others that they too can be industry leaders within fishing or the outdoor industry. Financial assistance. So again, part of our mission is to offer financial assistance. 2025, we offered 114 scholarships, and that was a 93% increase from 2024. Really proud of that. Focus for 2025 was to prioritize larger scholarships. So we kind of been playing around with what money do we have and how can we really share this money for these scholarships and really give people the best experience that they can have, specifically in our DIY fishing event. Those scholarships are going to continue. All the scholarship applications are open right now for the 2026 events. So we really hope that you take advantage of that, or at least look at the scholarships and fill them out, or please share them with your community or anybody that you know might have a financial need for these specific scholarships. Our event, our events are promoting access and belonging. We have representation, cultivating new leaders. So really it's all mission driven. We had 43 total events in 2025. That was a 43% increase. So we definitely bumped up our game with our events this year. 876 total participants. So that was about a 10% increase in 2025. Really our in-person and our virtual events. So everything's really been on the rise. Goes to show that we're just, again, reaching out to different folks and truly trying to be inclusive to all people, but also to different location. As we're choosing our different events, we are trying to not only be West Coast specific, but we want to make sure that we're venturing out in Midwest, the South, the Northeast, and whatnot. So we're really trying to look at that and focus on that as well. As far as our social media impact and our website and our YouTube, the biggest thing that what I've seen after compiling all of these numbers is that our reach and our increase is significant. So we had a 40% increase on just our total reach for social media. We reached over 338,000 people over all of our platforms. It's really incredible. Again, it just goes to show that what we're doing is meaningful. What we're doing is needed. What we're doing, people want to see that. People need that. People need the community that we have built and are continuing to build. And then looking at our website, email, and YouTube, you may not even know we have a YouTube. Well, we do. So that's something we're definitely looking at, wanting to increase more of our YouTube views next year. One of the biggest things, specifically with the Ubuntu Flanglers on the Rail podcast, one of the biggest things that Bob has always talked about, and he's going to go further into this, is really making the invisible visible. And so not only creating a podcast, but also ensuring that all of the interviews that we have are also shown via video. All of our podcasts are obviously on all your podcast platforms, but we also have them on YouTube. And really by doing that specifically in 2025, we had a 12.8% increase in watch time from 2024. So really what we're doing is working. So Bob, because of you, we are making the invisible visible. So thank you so much for that. As far as our website, everything's on the uprise. Pretty proud of all of the things that we've done and we've accomplished for 2025. As far as our financials go, again, full disclosure, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. If you want to see our 990s, we will share that with you. Here's all of our information. And as I mentioned, looking at what our total income was versus our total expenses, unfortunately, but fortunately, we are over the $50,000 per 501c3. So we have to do a little bit larger IRS filing, but hey, so be it. I think one of the biggest things though for us, as far as our total expenses go, our administrative percentage is 5.9%. So that's really low comparative to other nonprofits. And we're really proud of that because we are so volunteer driven. At some point in 2026, maybe 2027, we'd love to hire some admin to help not have 5,000 volunteer hours, but that's potentially maybe what the future will bring. We will see. And next, what we're going to do is just kind of go through all of our different committees. And so we have our different committee leads. They're going to just talk about who they are, what committee that they lead, and then also talk about what 2026 looks like for that committee.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex Javier. I use he, they pronouns. I am the incoming Advocacy Committee Chair. I'm taking over for Jay Michelle, who has led some really amazing work. Really here to talk about what the advocacy committee has been doing and what we're looking to do in the next year. Really, the work from the advocacy committee is centered on what is the impact that we can make in terms of advocating for more inclusion in the fishing sphere, and also ensuring that some of the other things are meeting all of our best practices for inclusive language, diversity, equity, inclusion goals. So, for instance, if the marketing group wants to put something out, ideally having advocacy committees saying, yeah, this looks great, or providing additional guides, resources, things like that for the other sides of iFishiBelong to be able to do that work quickly and easily. So we have a great group of folks. You can see on there, it looks like there's about 10 of us inside the committee members. And if you go to the next slide, you can see some of the things that we are focusing on in this next year. So one of those major lifts is an advocacy guide, taking some of the things, survey results from United Women on the Fly's Fly Shop survey, other resources and ideas for how do people create advocacy-centered events or move any of their initiatives through the advocacy process. So getting people together, writing to key folks, or organizing around key goals, or even just having fun events like video night, trivia nights, things like that, that highlight diversity and inclusion in the fishing sphere are all going to be in that guide. Continuing that Be What You Don't See campaign. So as Heather mentioned, expanding that to perhaps include multiple sides of the outdoor sphere, and as well as being more intentional about who we represent throughout the year. Not that it wasn't before, but continuing to be intentional about that campaign. Amplifying more voices, and that we'll see more of that in the next slide, and then creating more ally and education resources similar to that advocacy guide. One of the neat ways that also was mentioned already, trying to uplift new voices, is through that iFishiBelong Substack, trying to find a place for emerging writers who are women, folks of color, non-binary, to practice and share their writing as a part of that outdoor writing community. So that's kind of the Substack, and then developing those emerging writers. And then finally getting a committee webpage so that folks can see more transparently what we're doing, as well as our goals, our specific committee mission statement, and things like that for you all to review. So that's it for our 2026 initiative and what the advocacy committee does.
And then compliance and operations. This is the boring stuff, but the important things. So this is where we're talking about IRS. We're doing all of our filings. We're making sure that the lights are on. We're paying the bills, all of the things, making sure that we are compliant. It also is where our volunteer coordinator and all of our volunteer operations come into play as well. We are in need of a secretary. So if that is something that you all, or of someone that might want to take on that role, we would love to have you. And the secretary will be a part of the compliance and operation committee. As far as our 2026 initiatives, really our focus is volunteers, really making sure that we are supporting all of our volunteers to ensure that they have all of the tools that they need to do whatever role that they do within iFishiBelong. So that's a big part. Board and volunteer onboarding. We're looking at creating a board and volunteer portal within our website, so it's much easier to just access documents or policies or whatever you see. So that's really going to be our focus in 2026.
Yeah, so we can flip to the second slide for finance. I'm Ali Valdatara. I oversee the finance committee and I am the treasurer. Real quick, right? As Heather said, finance is one of our stability engines for the org. I think 2025 was a lot about putting structure around the moves our organization can make so we can grow with some semblance of order. A lot of really unglamorous work, candidly, but that's what you have to do to reduce risk, improve visibility, and just make it easier for the board to make decisions going forward. For 2026 here, I think it's much of a shift from a keeping up cadence to more of getting our muscles flexed here and running on a repeatable rhythm, right? It's predictable planning. It's faster check-ins on where we stand for program leads and committee leads. It's cleaner donation handlings, more of a shared ownership. So finance isn't really dependent on one person and bottlenecking. So retweeting Heather's sentiment here, if you love accounting and finance or taxes and compliance, please send me a note. We are desperately in need of folks to help. I don't know if everyone clocked the 500 hours for the finance committee, but only 2 members here. So please help us. Um, Again, with finance, the goal is really simple, right? We're just working to protect the mission and make it easier to scale our impact and make these programs possible. So again, if you'd like to get involved, please reach out to me.
Allie, thank you so much for putting all of that time and energy into it. Just creating all the policies and again, just the risk to make sure that moving forward that we do have that foundation as far as reports go, financials that we can provide to anyone to be again, to share our financials, but also within our program. So Allie, thank you so much. Marcom and Technology. So we have an awesome group of folks. I see Suzanne right here. She does an amazing job as far as our social media engagement goes. Also, we are really focusing with our Marcom is to continue to recruit and build a bigger committee. As you can imagine, all of the incredible numbers that you saw and the increases with all of our social media and even just developing this impact report, all of that is within the Marcom team. So we do quite a lot and we really support all of our programs. We're helping with create graphics within the website, just really the part of the foundation of just showcasing our organization. So if this is of any interest to you with social media, websites, any of that, we could definitely use some help. As far as our 2026 initiatives, campaigns, again, we're just going to continue to work on our Be What You Don't See campaign, our program social media. So we're going to continue to support all of our programs, just all the incredible work that they're doing. And then metrics and strategies, continuing to look at what are our metrics, what are we doing, what can we do better, looking at the surveys, all of that. And then really working with the advocacy committee, working with the outreach committee. We can all work together to ensure that we really are using the right language, that we're reaching out to the right folks, that we're amplifying all of our different partners in our outreach and the people that we're building relationships with. We do a lot behind the scenes, and I'm really, really, really proud of our Marcom team. So if you're on here and you're a part of it, thank you all so, so much. Fundraising and partnerships. Mary.
Hello. Yeah, so last year we combined our fundraising committee and our partnerships and outreach committee into one. We are a small crew of folks. We're really focused on both the community impact that we can make through our relationship building across the industry and with our community, as well as building financial stability for our organization. So now that we're moving along and becoming a much more mature organization in 501(c), we have to ensure that our fundraising is really creating diverse and sustainable revenue for the organization. About 2026 and what we're doing. And our biggest focus this year is really putting a framework for funding growth in place. So over the last few years, we've really built work around the tactical side. So built a tiered sponsorship package across our programs to make sure we could provide, opportunities for partners and sponsors to have brand visibility and to partner with us in a pretty streamlined way. And now what we want to do is really build on that and build a pipeline of companies and organizations that we work with around sponsorship. So from a growth standpoint, we want to secure new corporate sponsors as well as grow individual donations through targeted fundraising campaigns. So that's both from a tactical standpoint as well as a strategic standpoint. The other piece that we, have realized as we've looked back retrospectively as a board of the organization is that we really need to, as a board, lean into the fundraising for our organization. And so in 2026, this committee is going to build a framework and create additional capacity within the organization for fundraising. We don't really have anyone sitting on our board or sitting within our committee that has the depth of expertise. So I'll put a call out to the depth of expertise in either corporate fundraising or nonprofit fundraising. So if you do and you want to get on board, that's what we're looking for as well. And then finally, much to probably Allie's love, is around the operations side. And so ensuring that we have quarterly fundraising revenue targets and have a dashboard to say kind of where we are each quarter, so it's easy for us to know where we are against what we're trying to do for the year. And then finally, partnerships. We have several really high quality, really mission aligned partnerships today. we just want to make sure that we keep those partnerships tight and we're able to create value for both ourselves, our organization, as well as our partners. So we'll work this year as well on streamlining that partnership model, similar to our sponsorships around a tiered framework, and improving our onboarding process to ensure we're meeting all of our commitments throughout the year with those partners. So that's what we'll do this year. Oh, and just to quickly mention our partnerships right now that we have in place, the Chattahoochee River Keepers, especially for All Kids Fish, Reeling in Serenity, and Rising to the Fly, and Trout Routes have all been with us since the beginning of our organization. So these are great partners that we want to continue to highlight and raise the bar with us.
Thank you so much, Mary. And again, as Mary mentioned, and I'll throw this out there as well, a lot of us are all really, really good at community and outreach and all the things, but asking for money is really hard. So we definitely, if this is something that you're good at and you have interest in, we would love for you to be a part of our iFishiBelong fundraising and outreach and partnership committee. Those were our committees. Last year, we had like 12 different committees. We're really trying to bring those down, and we're learning. We're a very young organization founded in November of 2023. So I think now we're starting to really streamline and focus and bring those committees together to do all of the work. But really the foundation and what iFish and who iFishiBelong is our programs. We currently have 4 different programs. Within our programs, we have the Becca Klein All Kids Fish. We have our DIY fishing events. We have Ubuntu Flying Anglers, and we also have United Women on the Fly. This is Tema. So Tema is our program chair. She's been with us since the very beginning. She's a founding member and really helped building the structure of iFishiBelong. She's also a co-founder of Rising to the Fly. So Gear, Garb, and Guidance for Women in Fly Fishing. It's a really great nonprofit organization. Our focus with all of our programs is our continued advocacy work. So again, our advocacy in action. And, our All Kids Fish, we really advocate for youth, for Ubuntu Fly Anglers. We advocate for Black and Brown anglers. For United on the Fly, we advocate for women in fly fishing. And our DIY fishing events, we advocate for all socioeconomic statuses. That's really where our programs are. And we're going to kick it off with every program lead just to talk about and all of our different programs. So Dale.
Hello.
Hi.
The Becca Sue Klein All Kids Fish program started with the Chattahoochee River Keepers down in Helen, Georgia. This will be their 7th year that they're doing it this year. They've got 2 events, one in May and one in October. Before Becca passed, I was talking with her and she had asked if I could work to push her legacy outward and include other regions, other areas. This past year, we did our first one strictly under the iFishiBelong umbrella. And there's a picture on the screen now of our event. This was in a farm park in Norristown, Pennsylvania. I think the only regret I had with this is that it didn't have as many scholarships as we wanted. We would like to have at least half of the kids. This year we had 23. Next year we're limiting it to 20. I'm going to tell you, every single person, every single volunteer that's in that picture is probably going to be back because you participate in this event as a volunteer and you're going to be a lifelong volunteer. This program is just absolutely amazing. There were 720 volunteer program hours. That's just for hours. Now,
for one event.
I know, yeah, that's just one event. Yeah, and it was a fantastic event. Now, next year, Kathy and her husband, Ken, are going to be the leads of the committee, and they pretty much led that program last year. This year's going to be bigger and better, I'm going to tell you. The participation overview, this is just for our one event. Has nothing to do with the Chattahoochee River Keeper. We had 22 youth participants and 4 scholarships. They ranged from 8 to 18. The average age was 11. The participant satisfaction rate is 5 stars. If we could put 10 stars on there, it'd be 10 stars. Yeah, everybody loved it. Educational hours was 132 hours. Volunteer engagement, the volunteers just are lining up. 36 volunteers. We made sure every child had a volunteer with them through the entire afternoon session, which is the fishing. They had an adult river mentor standing next to them while the kids were fishing. All the parents that were there watching were just amazed at how seamless the event ran. It was just too good to be true. The total income and total expenses, the total income we got in was $6,910. Some of that's from registration, some of it was from restricted donations, and some of it was from sponsors. Okay, our initiative, establish a national program committee, which we did start, and we're looking for a few more people. Create a committee to support, coordinate, and align all kids fish events nationwide. That sounds great. All kids fish events nationwide. Woo! Improve the scholarship process. Update the current process to better serve marginalized youth by partnering with organizations that select scholarship recipients. We're going to definitely have 50% scholarships this year. Engage marginalized communities. Strengthen outreach and partnership with deserved communities to increase event participation. That goes hand in hand with the scholarships. Fundraising and donations. Build diverse funding through donors, sponsors, and in-kind partnership to support all kids fish events. The Rotary Club, not only were there a number of volunteers, there was also a lot of financial donations that they gave. Fly Fish Instruct, Orbis, and Raging River. And this event was amazing. It was so important to teach children the right techniques, mindset, and conservation habits from the start. The event was so well organized. The mentors were all very enthusiastic and ensured the children enjoyed themselves. As a parent, it was so enjoyable for me to watch. The icing on the cake is the Orbis fly rod outfit and the goodie bags they took home. Altogether, this will definitely be the catalyst for many more years of fly fishing fun. Hear, hear. Here's some cool pictures. I mean, I got to tell you, if these kids, it was so amazing. This little boy over here on the left-hand side with the orange shirt, he's 7 years old. He was a little younger than the 8-year-old limit. He's got two sisters, and he said, I'm just glad my sisters aren't here, and I get to take this fly rod home. He was just sweet as heck. And I'll tell you, there's a picture here of Becca. I'm telling you, I saw Becca there that day. She was there, and she was smiling and loving it. Thank God.
Dale, thank you so much for just taking on and really supporting and being the glue to creating this and helping bring forth Becca's vision of her all kids fish events nationwide. We are just happy that iFishiBelong, that we have the resources and the people and the energy to continue it. So Dale, thank you so much. And Kathy and Ken and everyone else that volunteered. It was truly an incredible event. Can't wait for 2026.
And thank you, Heather.
Yeah. So our iFishiBelong DIY fishing events. This is, as I mentioned, advocating for all socioeconomic statuses. And really what we've done is, we have these three different groups, or really specifically, we have Ubuntu, we have United on the Fly. And our focus is that we want to bring all of the community, all the people, everybody together and get out and fish. So all of these folks that you can see that are listed here, these are all of the co-hosts throughout the different events. Most of them are going to be co-hosting again in 2026. As far as our mission goes, we really have designed these events to be affordable in mind, offer opportunities to learn, explore, and connect, but really with a focus on wade fishing. So that is our really our focus with our DIY fishing events. One thing that we did this last year, which was really fun and amazing, and we're definitely going to be continuing this, was including an urban fish. This is a photo of just a few. This is not all the people that were a part of it, but if you look in that background, that is actually LA. So we did MacArthur Park. We went and fished for carp and for bass, and we used fly rods, we used spinning rods, and even Lino had this giant tenkara rod that we used. We caught fish on hot dogs. We caught fish on tortillas. We caught fish on flies. It was so fun.
I
And
love
just
it.
the energy and the people, and it was so beautiful. And really one of the focuses for these DIY events is that you don't have to have a lot of money, or it doesn't have to be super expensive, or you don't have to fly to extravagant areas. You can do this in the back of your home, in a park, and it doesn't have to be for trout. And that's really one of our big focuses for our DIY fishing events. We had 1,139 total volunteer hours. We had 338 total participants, increased by 13% since 2024. I think some of the big ones, 54% of our participants traveled solo. And I think that's a really interesting and a really great statistic for folks that are just like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared. I don't know anybody. Well, you're not alone. So come to one of these events. You're going to meet literally your lifelong friends. I can tell you every single person that I know or I've fished with is because of these communities, and they're going to be my forever friends that I'll always fish and always be a part of. So if you're solo, come to one of these events. 87% would attend a similar event in the future. Also, it doesn't matter what your age is. So we have pretty good percentages, almost like the zone diet here, 40, 40, 20. But we're pretty even as far as our ages go as well. We have young, we have middle. It doesn't matter who you are, and how you identify. You belong at these events. 67% are returning. And we do have a gear loan program. So we do have some 5 weights, some 6 weights. And we also have waders and boots. So if you don't have the equipment, we have a form where you fill out this equipment form and we can get you and bring you the gear. 35 states were represented. So these are the participants that came. We also had 3 different countries, New Zealand, Switzerland, and Canada. That shouldn't say US. As far as our volunteers go, again, we had 1,139 volunteer hours. We had 22 total volunteers. 10 states were represented, really trying to focus and make sure and bring all people to the table. We want to cultivate leaderships. We want to have equitable representation. So it's really important for us within the DIY fishing program that we bring all folks in as co-hosts. And so we'll continue to work on that, continue to be better, and we'll continue to just bring in new folks that can be the new leaders, the new educators, and the new mentors. As far as our financials, where most of the income comes, most of the expenses, we do have a little bit of money left over for 2026, which is great. Pretty even as far as everything goes. And as mentioned, looking at our administrative costs, we're at 1.3%. So we are focused on volunteer driven. All of our money that comes in goes back directly to our program. So very proud of these financials because we've worked really hard on our budgets and trying to just make sure that we can create the best events that we can. Sponsors. We are so lucky to have such incredible sponsors for 2025. Also happy to announce that Guadalupe River Trout Unlimited sent a sponsorship in for 2026. And I think one of the beautiful things about this is we don't even do an event in Texas. The Guadalupe or the GRTU, they know the work that we're doing to truly try to bring all people, all techniques, all species into the sport of fishing. Kudos GRTU for really just supporting us. They've supported us since the beginning, and we couldn't do this without you. So thank you. Also, the Madison and Gallatin Trout Unlimited chapter, Trout Routes, has been a huge part of our sponsorships for all of our scholarships. That partnership has been huge for us, allowing us to fulfill our mission work of offering financial assistance. Then we have community partners too. So we're just so lucky to build community with all of these different fly shops, with different groups, different nonprofit organizations. Like, this is our work. We're going into the community and just trying to bring a really amazing community focused event. As far as our initiatives, we want to grow our participation, but also we want to diversify our participation. So that's a focus for us. We want to expand our urban and underserved access areas, bringing in a couple more urban events, really trying to bring some of these DIY events, not have them so far out, not so rural. We want to bring them in closer to some of the bigger cities. We focused on education in 2025. We want to ramp this up. And I think one of the biggest things is our events in the past, we say that you can come come as a new angler, it's been a little difficult. So one of the things that we're starting to work on is really offering an intro to fly fishing donation-based workshop during the weekend. So that means that really, if you've never picked up a fly rod, then this is an event that will really allow you to learn and to hopefully get a little bit of time on the water. As Mary mentioned, with fundraising, just developing sustainable funding, that's a big part of this. Pretty proud if you look at our numbers, we have a pretty diverse income coming in, whether it's from merchandise sales, registration, donations, sponsorships. We can do better, and that's something that we're going to be working on. And this is just a quote. This is my third year attending events with iFishiBelong, and every year my community of fishy folks grows. These events let me explore new places, learn by fishing in new waters, and grow my personal connections to folks all over the country. I can't think of anything else that gives me so much for so little. Pretty special. So again, if you're solo, come to an event. You're going to be laughing and smiling like these three beautiful women. It's not just women specific, so it's all people. Doesn't matter how you identify. We want you here. We want you to be a part of this. You are welcome. I hope that you attend one of the 2026 events.
I don't know, but you set a pretty high bar, everybody. Thanks a lot. All these presentations. Wow. Woo, Ubuntu Fly Anglers. This all started really with a conversation with Heather Hudson in the parking lot near Sacred Heart Hospital between the two of us. And this way before all of this was happening. And so Ubuntu Fly Anglers owes a great deal to Heather and her encouragement as we scratch things out with pencil and paper before we were even a thought. We started in 2023, and so you can see the synchronicity here between iFishiBelong and Ubuntu Fly Anglers 2023. And our mission is pretty simple and straightforward. I can tell you this: we are fly-centric currently, and BIPOC centric. So those are the two centrics that we have. Our mission, Ubuntu Fly Anglers' mission, is an intentional effort to bring people together, create meaningful change through community education leadership. The picture that you're looking at was last year, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but this was a summer camp we did here in Spokane. People in the background there, that's Joyce Shepard, who lives in North Carolina. That's Carl Crawford, who's down in LA. Over the other direction, that's Lael Johnson. He owns one of the major fly fishing outfit companies in the Pacific Northwest. He's up in Seattle, North Seattle. Lael Johnson, and that's yours truly. And these are some of the beautiful people that we spent time with this summer. On the Reel has been amazing. It continues to be amazing. To spend time, I feel guilty, spending time with folks like these and others and just talking, just recording the conversations that we have. And again, it's, as Heather mentioned earlier, this is about making the invisible of us visible. We are, and I often try to describe it this way, we are where United Women on the Fly was years ago. Actually, we are where Spokane Women on the Fly was years ago when Heather started that. We are in that beginning phase. It's hard to believe we've only been around for a couple of years. And so see some of the folks here, this is who we are. These are some of the visible folks that are out there doing great work, fly angling all over the world, all over the United States, and sometimes just in their backyard. And I have to point out here, thanks for this graphic, and also thanks for including Scott. As United Women on the Fly lost their champion, we lost one of our champions last year to pancreatic cancer, and that's Scott Simmons, who's down in the bottom. He was here with us in 2024, diagnosed around Christmas that year, and was gone by August. A real super guy that was part of our founding group. This is a picture of our gathering last year. So one of the things that we do we've done for the past couple of years is whenever we meet, it's called We Are Here. We'll probably get to that. Well, you see it up there. We Are Here. Whenever we meet, here are the things that we do. First, we get together with young people from across the community. Black and brown kids are our primary focus, but we'll take any that want to show up. And we put rods in their hands, we meet in a park, and we call it Casting in the Park. Part of our We Are Here events, this is one of our major things. The second thing we do is we always want to hear from the indigenous peoples of the area. So whose land are we on? What is their story? And then the other thing is we fish. So this was taken in Hidden Falls Park, and these are some of the amazing people with Ubuntu and young people. These are just some of our numbers, and it is absolutely mind-boggling to me every day to find black and brown anglers out there that prior to us being intentional and looking for them did not know they exist. And volunteers, people saying, yeah, how can I help? How can I help? I want to get involved in that. I want to get to know who Ubuntu is and so on and so forth. So these numbers just reflect just some of the excitement we've had in the past in 2025 and what we're looking for and forward to growing in 2026.
Well, and I think too, Bob, this is with the BIPOC Youth Summer Camp. These are the stats for that. And what about the significance of that? I don't know if there's if there's ever been a BIPOC Youth Summer Camp ever in Spokane, Washington.
Right. We hosted this in Spokane. Thanks, Heather. We hosted this in Spokane. Of course, I'm just like, yeah, I want to do this and let's do this. Let's figure out how to do it, not knowing that we made history. There had never been in the history of the city a BIPOC summer camp. And so the parents and the participants were so amazing and so grateful. The things that parents said about, wow, we can't afford to send our kids to Camp Sherlocken or Camp Reed or Camp blah, 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 that cost $1,000 a week. Everything we do is free. And so they were able to drop their kids off with us for 6 days. Drop them off in the morning. We had in-class time in the morning where they had a chance to meet other black and brown folks that play in the outdoors, work in the outdoors, and in the afternoons we took field trips. We took them to a wildlife area. Of course, we introduced them to fly fishing. We brought in the Spokane River Keeper. And at the time, we didn't realize we were making history. That's not why we did it. But it was amazing when it was all over to have parents come up and just be so grateful and young people say such positive things about their experience. And I sent Heather a couple quotes just because it was so touching to hear a couple of them say, like, I have something new to do. I did not realize how important it was to spend time outdoors. Now I know if I'm upset, I could just go for a walk. Mm-hmm. And as you were saying, Dale, that's what drives us, right? That's why we do what we do. Yeah, here are a couple folks that received gifts. We have now, thanks to donors, we have a couple donors that have donated rods from their garage, one new rods and reels and lines, but we refurbish. In case you happen to have any rods hanging around that you don't use in the closet, in your garage, send them to us. We'll refurbish them and put them to use. So we were able to give this young man on the right, Titus, he was one in our summer camp. He's grown 4 inches since last summer, I swear. His dad took this picture of him with the gear that we gave him. He's holding a 9-foot 5-weight rod in his hand, the vest, gave him a flies and the hat and everything, and that was just awesome. And then Tammy on the left, I met her in Maupin last year at the DIY event, and she was such a champion, and she brought kids to the park. So virtual education, we did 2 in 2025, and we're outlining a couple for 2026. I had the wonderful pleasure of working with Nicole Tracy Lewis from up in Ottawa, Canada. She's Canadian. She's the one down on the right holding a fish and across the bottom, kind of, sort of. We did one on Streamer Fishing 101, and that the two of us together did that one because we're streamer junkies. And then Nicole did one intro to stillwater fishing. We're planning a couple for this one, including casting, but we'll see what else comes up. Virtual education. Ubuntu Financials, total income last year was a little over $16,000, which is amazing. And again, one of the things that I wanted to mention real quick was I was a university person. I was a faculty person for 34 years. And I always had a place to go to say, hey, I need to raise some money for something. And so it was not definitely something that I set out to do to be a fundraiser. But one of the things that I learned early on is when you're not asking, people are more excited to give. It's kind of a weird thing. I never asked. It just happened. And so that money, the majority of that money just came because people would say, well, tell me the story. Tell me about Ubuntu. And I would tell them they give. So pretty awesome. Total expenses are around there. So we do have a little change left over. Our initiatives, team development and volunteers, increasing the number of volunteers, Ubuntu community spotlights, always trying to find those people out there. Heather had a wonderful conversation with Kimmy Jimmy down in Farmington, New Mexico, as a Navajo woman who's a guide. and also a young man in North Carolina lately, and did an On the Reel with Dudley Edmondson. So this has all been in the past couple of weeks. On the Reel podcast, always looking for people who would be willing to sit down for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, and do a podcast. Virtual education, as we mentioned, community engagement events. So we're going to do the youth camp again. We just received another little sponsorship grant, which was awesome, from one of our local outfits, and they have about 3 others out there pending. So we're going to do it. We'd do it even if we didn't have the money. We'd find a way. We Are Here event. This ties into the 2026. The first time we met was here in Spokane. The second time we met was in the Twin Cities. The next time we meet, which is this October, and this is going to be our first, Ubuntu is going to host, and it's going to be DIY. So we're meeting because we have connections in the Eastern Sierras. Outside Yosemite, we'll be meeting at maybe some of you have fished at Mammoth Lakes. So this is a shout out. Put it on your calendar if you want to come out and hang with some crazy folks in California. I know Heather's going to be there. Come on out. It's October 8th through the 11th. We'll be in California. So we'll be filling out some stuff. You'll be getting some things in the mail saying, hey, put this on your calendar. So that's coming up this year. And again, we'll have the summer camp in July, be in Maupin again in May. So one of the things that we're building right now is we're developing our own onboarding process to recruit Black and brown fly anglers, environmental activists, and so on that are out there to create our own onboarding process. So then our ultimate goal, 2027, we're really excited about this. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Green Book. Maybe you saw the movie. The Green Book. We're going to create our own Ubuntu Fly Anglers Green Book with a lot of Heather's help and other folks. Whereas if I, for example, want to fish in Pennsylvania and Dale's not available, but I want to fish with a Black or brown person, I'm going to click on Pennsylvania, and these folks are going to pop up. If I'm going to North Carolina, if I'm going to New Mexico, if I'm going other places. So we're really excited about that. And everyone we've talked to said, yes, please. You know, nothing against fishing with regular type folk, but they're like, if I know there's a person, a guide, outfitting business in another state, absolutely. I want to go hang with them. So that's happening. Fundraising partnerships. We have some folks out there that are kind of hanging on the edges saying, all right, well, let's keep talking about how they can come on and be a sponsor. Matter. This is who our people are, the advocate level folks. These are local, the Zone, and Community Empire Health Foundation. They just gave us another $2,500 in-kind donations from Long Branch and Fly Fish Instruct and Raging Waters. Love those folks. And then the Black Lens newspaper, which is a Black newspaper here in Spokane, local newspaper, and Martin Luther King Center is where we hosted the Ubuntu camp last summer, and they're saying, please come back. Mm-hmm. So we're going to host it again at the Martin Luther King Center here in the NAACP chapter here in Spokane. So a quote here from one of the folks, powerful beyond words. The experience was a true embodiment of community and Black and brown joy. Sharing my love of the great outdoors with others like me who have a similar passion was a sacred experience. I'm already longing for the next time we can all gather. And so this is a picture of us mostly in the park. Actually, they're all in, except for the one with Carl and Scott over on the right. Oh, and then down at the bottom. So this is just a collection of pictures from last year, 2025. We're going to have a lot of amazing pictures coming soon in 2026, and you'll see some new posts on our Facebook page and our socials here real soon.
Awesome.
Well,
Bob, thank you so much just for all that work and everything you've done to put into it. And wow, it's just, just Ubuntu adds so much to iFishiBelong. So thank you for everything.
So our mission, United Women on the Fly, we're women and fly fishing. United Women on the Fly aims to empower and unite women in fly fishing through advocacy work, education, mentorship, and representation. Our achievements for 2025, we continue to strengthen our role as a leading advocate for women in fly fishing by amplifying women's voices, let women be seen and heard, expanding access to resources, and creating meaningful opportunities for connection, education, and leadership. Grounded in the shared mission with iFishiBelong, we focused on visibility, equity, and empowerment, ensuring women see themselves represented across every level of the fly fishing community and industry. So our whole goal was to just bring visibility to women, not only women anglers, but women that are doing great things in the fly fishing industry. We mainly have our digital and social media is how we go. Our Instagram reach, I'll just go through these numbers real quick. So we have our United Women on the Fly website, which if you guys haven't been on the website, you need to check that out. It is incredible. It has a lot of valuable stuff on the United Women on the Fly website. 20,000 active website users, over 124,000 user interactions, 42,000 website views, and over 42% engagement rate. That's just on our website, how we reach out on our website. We have women's fishing groups. We have 72 listed. And I think we had, with Amanda and Kelly, we updated those to reflect, to make sure they're in line with the iFishiBelong mission and make sure they're still on board with our mission. We have 104 women-owned business listings. We have 69 women fishing guides listed and 9 women-owned fly shop listings. I find new things on there every time I go in there.
One of the biggest things with the website is truly it's the only currently updated website offering centralized listings and resources for women in fishing. It's a really great resource. And one of the things that we're focused on doing for 2026 is to also bring that over to iFishiBelong, still keep the United Women on the Fly website because it is, as you can see, I mean, we get a lot of reach. So it's important because people are searching for that. They are looking for that, but then also bringing it over into iFishiBelong as well. As far as social media reach, wow, like it's been pretty impressive. And I'll say as the algorithms change and all the things, like really our Instagram followers, our number hasn't gone up too much, but our interactions and our engagement has really soared. And I think that's one of the biggest things for us. Like we're adding value to women in fly fishing and we're really, really proud of that. As I mentioned, we've stuck around 18.5 is kind of where we've been over the last couple of years, but our overall interaction has gone up almost 96%. So it's pretty incredible to see all of this. Focus is highlighting and amplifying women. 2025, we had 20 individual women highlight posts. We also had 27 educational social media posts, and we're going to be revamping that and bringing more. Our team, we're really focusing on, we're going to do a saltwater series. We're going to do a paddlecraft series. So a boat series. We're continuing our space series. And then we're also going to do a warm water series. So lots of education. And again, just equitable representation, cultivating leadership, and really showing that women can teach too, right? The importance that women can do skills and do things and just as well as everyone else. And we want to highlight and showcase that.
We don't have too big of a budget. We have 375 in donations and then our total expenses is 500. So we need to do some little bit of fundraising there to get that up. Our 2026 initiatives, we've had a fly shop survey project that we've been working on. Q1, we want to get those presentations posted and resources on the YouTube channel. Women highlights, we want to keep publishing monthly content featuring women in fly fishing, focusing on underrepresented voices. Educational content, share quarterly theme posts, as Heather was saying about we're trying to do different things than just our standard trout. We have the saltwater, spay, and warm water species, those kinds of things. We'll bring back Angie Ask. I can ask a question that I don't know the answer to. And then we have Did You Know to help guide. We have so many resources that people may not know about. So it's just a monthly post to direct people to where they can find educational content. And then also we'll start doing the Fish Handling Friday updates on a weekly basis as well. The one I'm excited about, in-person event for 2026. The third weekend in June is National Women's Fly Fishing Day. The whole month of June is National Women's Fly Fishing Month. So we are supporting J. Michelle through Crow Creek Fly Shop and Guide Service for the Roslyn Riffle Women's Fly Fishing event in coordination with iFishiBelong. What's so great about it is it'll be on Women's National Fly Fishing Day. It will have all hosted by women. All of our presenters and workshop leaders are women. And Crow Creek Fly Shop is the only woman-owned fly shop in the state of Washington. I'm very, very excited about that and working with J. Michelle and Crow Creek. Going to be a great time. Oh, this says it all right here. When women are visible in fly fishing, the entire community becomes stronger. That's what we're going to do. Make women visible in fly fishing. And here's some of most of the DIY fishing events come from United Women on the Fly, a lot of the community members. So here's some of the events over the past few years.
Roslyn Riffle will be a DIY fishing event, so all are welcomed. It's supporting women that weekend, but we're excited to have all people come and learn. And the Roslyn Riffle is going to be pretty incredible because we have 4 different workshops happening throughout this event. As far as education goes, and it's all donation based, it's going to be a really, really fun event.
Yes, please come. It is for everybody, not just women.
It's going to be exciting. Finish this up. We have a strategic plan. I'm not going to go through it because it took us months to go through it, but it is available if you all want to see. And that's where all of these metrics come from. That's where all of these initiatives come from, all of our progress. Truly, it's really now like ways to support, right? You've seen what we've done. You met some of our folks, our leadership people, our program chairs, our committee leads. What are the ways that you as an individual can support iFishiBelong in all of our programs? Obviously, donations. You saw our financials. Really want to continue to keep a goal of ensuring that most of our money does go back to our program. The more financial availability that we have, the more that we can do within our programs. If you want to become a sponsor, we would love program sponsored. If that is of interest to you, or if you know of any organizations or your local Trout Unlimited chapter or whoever it might be, we have options. We just designed a great 2026 sponsorship packet. We would love for sponsorships. Company match. Some of our leaders, they've actually had a company match where they've donated something or they've done volunteer hours and their company matches it. I know Microsoft does it. There's a bunch of different companies that do. So maybe that's something that you could do for iFishiBelong and or one of its programs. We always need volunteers. As you heard the call out there for fundraising, for finance, outreach, Marcom, or if you want to just volunteer at an event and just pass out registration bags or whatever it might be, we can use you. Follow, like, share, and comment. This is a really easy way that you can support us. As you can see, the Marcom channel, Marcom committee is busy. We help with all of these. So iFishiBelong, Ubuntu Flyinglers, United Women on the Fly, and All Kids Fish. First and foremost, just follow us. And I think one of the most common questions is, how can I support, right? I may not identify as a certain group that you have as a program. How can I support? And I think one of the biggest things is that if you see a post that we do or a reel that we do or a story, it's a really easy to just look at it and click share it to your own story, right? We need folks to continue to share our information, share our events, share our stories, share the history truly that iFishiBelong and all of its programs are making. So pretty easy to do that. Join or volunteer in an event September 26th. You can volunteer for this. You can support financially as well. You can sponsor somebody. Ways that you can do that. The Ubuntu Flyinglers Nature Camp, definitely we're going to be doing that again here in Spokane. So there's ways that you can be a part of that. As far as our 2026 events, kind of the middle of the country is missing a bit this year, but you know, we're a nonprofit that we do the best we can. So next year, hopefully we'll have a few of these states.
Those flyover states get left out, right?
I know. That's our goal 2027. But when we're looking at our different events, specifically our DIY events, our upcoming event, it's happening in less than a month. It's in Brevard, North Carolina. Super excited about this event. It is in conjunction with the Forks of the River Fly Fishing and Music Festival. And United on the Fly actually is sponsoring, along with Ubuntu and with iFishiBelong, but sponsoring the Women in Fly Fishing Dinner and Symposium. And super excited to have 3 amazing women that are going to be the presenters. And Yolanda, who's on, is one of those. We have Britta Fordyce. So Britta is from Seattle. She's also coming to our Rosalind Riffle event. She was also one of our Be What You Don't See leaders. Yolanda Edwards. So Yolanda is a veteran. She had a nonprofit and she just switched it to Her Waters with really a focus on bringing Black women specifically into the sport of fly fishing and just showing the importance and just the healing that this can bring. So really excited to connect with Yolanda and continue to work with her. She's also our February Be What You Don't See leader. So more to come as far as you're going to see an interview and a lot more about her as well. And then Wanda Taylor, she's a certified casting instructor. She's just been around a really long time with fly fishing and going to be another one of the women that's highlighted. So really excited about that. Our Mop and Oregon event, Trout Fest, that's happening again. Roslyn, Washington, we have the Roslyn Riffle, celebrating women of all identities in fly fishing. Again, as Angie mentioned, Crow Creek is the only fly shop in Washington State to be owned by a woman, and specifically a queer woman. And we are so happy to have J. Michelle on our board and just support her. So awesome. So we are very excited. And this specific event is open to all, but really ran by women. Pretty excited about that event. And then our West Yellowstone, Montana event. This is going to be in conjunction with the Wretched Mess Festival. And if you like the fall and you love those colors and you like good fishing, come on down. And then as Bob mentioned, this is the Ubuntu hosted DIY fishing events in the High Sierra, California. We're working on all the details for that. Registration will open up in April or so. Bob, myself, and Carl are working on all the details. So really excited about that event as well. And that's what we got. I'm going to unshare the screen. I am so proud to just work side by side with every single one of you volunteers. You make my heart so happy to see the work that we've done, the work that we're going to continue to do, the community building. Done a lot for a small little baby nonprofit, and it's pretty incredible. Yeah, I'm so proud to work side by side with you all and to see every single face that I'm looking at right now. It really touches my heart. So thank you all so much for just being a part of this and the work that we do.